President Musk is in complete control of everything right now. It is made clear that he is running this show and Donald Trump is just sitting there and he's allowing him to do it. And why he's allowing him to do it at this point, we could talk about that. But let's first play the clip where he was with the Japanese prime minister last week, and a reporter asked him about the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind the Resolute desk. And the best part about this is how Donald Trump has to wait for the interpreter to ask the Japanese president as well before he gives his answer. I love this.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか?
Elon.
Listen to all the sycophants and dipshits laughing. Oh, Mr. President, because we're so uncomfortable because Elon really is the president, and we're going to laugh at your dumb joke, even though they put you on Time magazine just a few weeks ago as the person of the year for some.
He didn't complain about that now, did he?
No. This is the same guy who has posters of himself at Mar-a-Lago with him on Time magazine, and he's never been on the cover of Time magazine before.
Exactly.
Sad, pathetic little loser. But anyway, right before I came on, there were Elon apparently was in the Oval Office today.
Yeah.
And he was there with his kid. And
like,
wait, I forgot to add a couple of these clips. So I'm just going to go here and we're going to start with the first one. First of all, Elon Musk is in control of this Doge who is supposed to go around and he's supposed to cut spending, Lana. And he's going around and he's telling people, look at this spending, look at this spending. And it turns out almost everything he's talking about is either not true or he's just flat out lying, whatever the case is. One of those is that we were sending multi-millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. And then that was proven wrong. And he was called out for that. And this was his response.
And this is big numbers. We're about $100 to $200 billion a year.
Sure.
Serious money.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. If it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that?
Why?
I'm going to tell you what's really annoying about that. A couple things. He says, we will quickly do everything we can to correct that. He had not said one fucking word since then until that reporter asked him a question. So obviously they're not quickly going to try to do that, to correct anything.
And kudos to, again, like these reporters have to really walk that fine line to stay in the room, because we see that they locked AP out for not seeing the Gulf of America, right? So they are dealing with a petty guy, and you and I get upset with the media a lot, it's warranted. But we also do realize that they have to do that fucking catering shit. They got to play chess. So
but you know what you and I do, Lana? The difference is that for me personally, I get mad at the cable news media. Real journalists, I am all for. And I think the real journalists, that game is dying, unfortunately, or it's getting more difficult for them. But you know what? Maybe they are going to amp up their game, and they know this is their time to really shine and take back.
Right, because that was a good question. Like, and
Yeah.
it wasn't rude or disrespectful how she said it. So it's like, okay, well, you got to answer that question. She wasn't trying to get a gotcha. It was a question. Like, dude, are you going to correct that? Because it's been fact checked.
Well, the other thing too is what bothers me is that there's one of two things here. Either they're not competent enough to understand the difference between a province in Africa and the Gaza Strip. So either they're incompetent or they want, I believe, they allowed that to float out there to be a flat out lie because they're so arrogant to think that nobody's going to question us. And we have already found the blueprint to fool the amount of Americans that we know that we're just going to agree with whatever we say.
Exactly. Throw the lie out there because it's already out there, and MAGA, it's going to be there. So the truth is now going to seem like fake news because they've already thrown out the fake news went out first and MAGA believed it. So now where we
Lana, you said it last week when you said if you hear something and you just don't take a second and think to yourself, is that true? So when you hear $600 million on sushi and you just go ahead and believe that and you're cheering that we are now getting rid of the government spending $600 million on sushi, which is not true. And the other one that really bothers me out of all of them, I wish they would have asked them about the Politico story about $8 million spent on Politico. First of all, that's not even close to true. Second of all, it was $44,000 in 2 years total on subscriptions to Politico. Now, if somebody says to me, why are there subscriptions to Politico through the government? The one thing I want to know is I want to know the actual answer before I make a determination whether or not that needs to be, scrapped or not. But first of all, second of all, it's only $44,000. Second of all, if you dig in a little deeper, Mike Johnson's office spent $9,000 to subscriptions to Politico. Lauren Boebert's office spent $7,000 to subscriptions to Politico. And there was a House committee, a Republican House committee that spent like $54,000 on Politico subscriptions. So this is something that there's a reason why they do it. There's also subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News.
Right. Like, so where are we right now? Like, I don't know. Everyone agrees that, pretty sure you could cut some spending in some areas. Right. But without a forensic audit, but you have coders. What are you really trying? That's not why you're there. And it's like, who are you fooling right now? Like MAGA? Because they'll believe anything. Other than that, like, you got to be a real idiot to think that these people who have money in excess, who can't spend it all, but also don't give to charity, will actually be trying to save money for like doing you a solid. That's not what this is. How could it be? If they really wanted to do a solid, they would cut defense spending and not fucking cancer research and whatever else. That's like 0.1% of the fucking budget. Like, this doesn't make, they're not getting any money right now. Like, this is like, I need to cut back my monthly spending. Let me stop, buying that one avocado a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not it.
Right.
Maybe the fucking 2 cartons of cigarettes somebody's smoking,
exactly right? Yeah, maybe not going out to dinner 5 nights a week.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, right? Buying lunch, breakfast, and dinner out, right? Exactly. And not that, it's like, that's stupid.
See, and I hear these comments, and this is where it gets so frustrating that you see it on Twitter. I'm on these TikTok lives, and they're asking me, I don't understand why you Democrats are so mad about cutting government spending. I was like, that's not what this is about. First of all, what anybody should be mad about is a non-citizen of this country who is not an official part of the government is going in, and he also gets government subsidies himself. So I've got a question, Lana. This is questions I've been asking all the MAGA people. We have an administration that has made it clear that climate change is a hoax. And we got out of the Paris Accord, we got out of all that. We also have a guy who's in charge of government spending who gets multi-millions of dollars of government subsidies for his cars that help combat climate change. So the question is, which one are we? Do we not believe in climate change, or do we? Because if we don't believe in climate change, then all those subsidies to Tesla has to go away. But if we don't, then we need to rejoin the Paris Accord. That's it. Which one are we going to do?
Exactly. And this is the thing that MAGA don't get, because they're just too fucking stupid. Like, they cannot explain that. There's no way to explain that. No
they
way
can't answer it, and they'll just go around it and say Elon's a genius, and he knows what he's doing, and dumb shit like
and
that.
Perhaps he does, but we'll never know because they're not being transparent, right? So, like, if you legitimately wanted to cut government spending, you would work with Congress to do this. Doors would be open. Why? Trump is the president. They have the Senate, they have Congress. What are Democrats going to do if they get inside of those doors? Like, what are they going to do? Start ripping shit up? No, they're not. You're not being transparent because you have something to hide. Why won't you even come to Congress to testify? Like, what is this?
Right. Well, they claim they are being transparent. That's going to be in a clip here in a minute. But this one's a little funny. I meant to play this one first. This is Donald Trump sitting behind his desk having to play babysitter to Elon Musk's stupid kid.
Hilarious.
I ask Elon Musk to say a few words, and we'll take some questions. Elon?
Look at poor Donald. Thinks he's in charge.
Did he, after this 40-minute presser that Elon just gave? Because he kept talking and talking. That shit.
No question. And Donald just sat there and let him continue to talk. And part of that was kind of, I don't know if Donald's just getting tired.
Elon said, "Is that my son or is that Donald?"
Yeah. This is awesome.
Diaper change.
So the
right.
At a high level, you say, what is the goal of Doge, and I think a significant part of the presidency?
Look at Donald, by the way. He is pissed that kid is in his office right now.
Yeah, he really is.
Is to restore democracy.
He stopped looking at him. Did you see him turning? He's like, "Don't play with me." He said, "Do not play with me."
I'll be honest with you. I've had, like, I don't know, like if I'm at a gym or something like that, and somebody has their kid there, and they look at me and they start coming towards me, I kind of turn away. I'm like, no, I'm really not.
That was hilarious, though. He just like,
Yep, that's exactly what Donald did. It's like, dude, stay the fuck away from me. I'm not in the mood for this shit. I already have a whole press corps right now thinking that the guy talking is the president.
Yeah.
You don't have a feedback loop. Okay, we'll have to. If you
Even tells him, shut up.
Tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes.
And what's sad is these two think they're in. I mean, well, they're in charge, but I mean, Elon thinks he's funny. This is gonna be
funny. It is funny. This is literally the two men that laughed about firing workers are firing workers. They are making America unemployed again. They keep talking about these agencies and how corrupt they are, how like they're just running amok doing what they want, when there are real life people who are just showing up to work to do jobs that you are just like firing and acting like they are the bad ones. Like, they're the ones. We're getting rid of all of them. We're going to cause pain. It's like, you want people's families to suffer? Like, who are you?
Lana, I also had a clip earlier. I took it out because these Elon clips came up before the show, so I replaced it. But Donald Trump literally had the balls to be talking about people working from home, and we need to stop people working from home because if they work from home, they're going to go out and play tennis or golf. This motherfucker's done nothing but play golf since he's taken over, and he's not even working from his own. first of all, he works from something called a White House. So he works from home. And then when he's not at the White House, he's working at another house all day. I mean, what the fuck is this guy
And then he
talking
had a
about?
list of his people who work from home. Like it
Oh my God, the fucking balls. But you were talking about the conflicts of interest. Another reporter, this is another good question by a reporter asking about the conflict of interest that Elon Musk has in his position. And of course, he gives this ridiculous answer.
Of interest when it comes to you yourself. For instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts when it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president I know has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability, check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately,
What people? The 19-year-old Harry Bowles guy?
Right. The people on Twitter, but you know what? Elon always has, if somebody says something on Twitter that he doesn't like, he always says, fuck you, or he has some sort of snarky return remark to him.
Yeah, he's like, he's so non-transparent. It's not even like, this is just so ridiculous. It's like, it's laughable. People are so far up this felon's ass and the felon's president's ass that they just say things like voters don't question it. It's because they said so. Elon said there's no conflict. MAGA said there's no conflict. Like there's no evidence of like overspending in these departments. There's no evidence of corruption. It's just what they fucking say. Like it's wild to me. It's just what they say. Whatever.
But Lana, they are fully on board with Joe Biden is a criminal and he's been a criminal and his whole family's a criminal. They're on board that Hillary Clinton literally had people killed. They're on board with Obama spied on Donald Trump's campaign. That 100% is true. But anything involving Trump or Elon Musk, none of it could possibly be true. It's just the deep state going after them. This is, I mean, again, this is stuff that you and I have to deal with. And, just the people surrounding us are the let's finish the clip.
Transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that.
Oh my God!
If we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watched that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this.
He had to step in because he was like, Elon's getting too much attention. Let me just bring him down a few notches here and let him know we're keeping an eye on Elon, so we're not going to let him do it if we say. Oh my God. So embarrassing, man. This fucking country is so embarrassing right now.
I don't care. He is not going to get upset with Elon. He cannot. Like he can't. That is the money man. Elon is the money man. He must be pissed at him. Like he's got to be pissed that he can't be pissed at Elon, right? Like he can't outwardly show that. He cannot.
I saw Crystal Ball, if you know who she is. She is a political pundit, and she had a theory. She's like, it is funny that all this money was pumped into this bullshit meme coin that Donald Trump put out for himself and then one for Melania and all this money, and you don't know where this money came from. And they're suggesting that Elon and maybe a couple of these other people put this money in this thing, and the agreement is we'll pump up your stupid coin and make you a multi-billionaire, and you let me do whatever the fuck I want.
No fucking doubt. That is why Elon right now can stand in that office and be there and talk to the press for 40 fucking minutes, and that orange motherfucker has to sit there and bite his fucking tongue because that is his bread and butter. At 1000%, that is his
And
bread.
Elon's smart enough to understand, I'll let him think that he's in charge of me. He can stop me and he can say, we're keeping an eye on Elon. Don't worry about it. I'm in charge of this. I'm keeping an eye on him. And Elon's like, this dumb fuck. I'm in charge of you. You know it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Not the vice president. Ask Trump today, would you support JD Vance?
We're going to have that. I have that clip.
Okay.
So we'll get to that. So let's play this last clip, Lana, before we get to that clip. But we'll play this last clip. And Elon's telling the American people, you know what? You're going to get what you voted for. And you know what? He's exactly right.
The people voted for major government reform.
No, they did.
There should be no doubt about that. That was
they didn't.
On the campaign. The president spoke about that
they
at
wanted
every rally.
cheaper groceries.
First of all, they wanted cheaper groceries, and they didn't want any boys playing in girls' sports. So apparently they're going to get that.
They wanted
they're going to get the 8 girls. What's that?
I said they wanted the immigrants gone.
Right. So, and by the way, if I saw correctly, and I'm going to look into this a little bit more, the rounding up of the immigrants and getting rid of them are nowhere near the amount of numbers that they were talking about and that it was supposed to be. But you know what the thing is? All these people who supposedly voted for that, they won't say a fucking word about it because you know why? They never cared about it to begin with. They don't care about any of this shit.
They're not going to know that the numbers aren't there because they're not paying attention to that. It's visual.
They could just tell them. They could tell them that we rounded up millions and millions of immigrants and they'll just believe it. But then there's going to be an actual number that comes out and they'll completely ignore it because they're trained flying monkeys.
You think we're going to get a number? I don't even think we're going to get a number.
It's possible that you don't. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. There is something, there's a report that's already showing that there's not as many. So somebody is keeping a track of it.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how that plays out. But here's Elon's warning about how you're going to get what you voted for.
For major government reform. And that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times that, people that don't get what they voted for. But in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Name one, Lana. They control the House. They control the Senate. The House is the one that can come up with an initial bill. They can come up with an initial plan. Name one thing that the House has passed along to the Senate. We're going on, next week is going to be a month already. He said starting on day one, prices are going to go down. Name one thing that they have done. All of this is a distraction for these idiots. I mean, people are literally celebrating the transgender bill. Like they just won the lottery, but they don't understand your prices are going to continue to go up. You have people like Chris Sununu on CNN laughing, basically with a smirk on his face when they're asking about, hey, what about prices? And he's like, hey, man, prices are going to be what they're going to be. Yeah. Now they're laughing at you. They're laughing at everybody. They're not laughing at me. I mean, maybe they are. They're laughing at us too. But we knew it was coming. I mean, Lana and I've talked about it before. We were forced on this fucking Titanic, and we were pissed that we're on this boat because we already know about the iceberg. They don't, and we try to warn them about the iceberg.